This is the Best Health Podcast, brought to you by Wake Forest Baptist Health in partnership with MedCost.
Good day, everyone. Welcome back to the latest episode of the Best Health Podcast from Wake Forest Baptist Health. This is Justin Gomez here, and we have a special podcast today. This podcast episode is continuing in our series of COVID-19 and coronavirus-related podcasts. And we're going to try something a little different today. And we're actually going to have part of the podcast in English and part of the podcast in Spanish, Espanol, for different audiences, just so we can provide resources to as many different communities as possible as we try and update them on different topics we're talking about surrounding COVID-19. So as I do with each of the COVID-19 related podcasts, I do want to offer this reminder of an available resource for all the listeners at wakehealth.edu/coronavirus. That URL is wakehealth.edu/coronavirus. And you'll find all kinds of different resources, facts versus myths, tips for parents, working with children through this COVID-19 situation, information about clinic updates, a self-assessment tool that people can take, all kinds of resources, including all of these podcasts as well. So I want to offer that as well. If someone has questions and they want to call related to COVID-19 and coronavirus, we do have the hotline at 336-70-COVID as well. So just a quick reminder for everyone listening. Now, on to this really cool podcast that we're going to be doing today. We have a very special guest. It is Dr. Elimarie Caballero Quiñones, and she is a licensed psychologist and an assistant professor. She's with our pediatric psychology and behavioral health department here at Wake Forest Baptist Health. So welcome, doctor. How are you?
Good. Thank you for the invite. Muchas gracias por la invitación.
CC, thank you for joining us. I know you've been pretty busy lately, and thank you for taking the time. So we're going to be talking on the mental health side of things once again today, specifically around building resilience and wellness during some difficult times, such as now with COVID-19. But before we dive into some of the things we're going to discuss, if you wouldn't mind just giving a little bit of background about yourself and how long you've been with Wake Forest Baptist Health and maybe what you do day to day with patients.
Okay, perfect. So I'm going to do it in English or Spanish for all the people that are out there. So my name is, again, it's Elimarie Caballero. I'm originally from Puerto Rico. I'm a licensed psychologist in the state of North Carolina. And a pediatric psychologist here at Brenner since last year. So I'm here for just 1 year, basically. Mm-hmm. I have been working with population with medical conditions, like chronic medical conditions and mental health for more than 5 or 6 years, mainly children and teenagers. And also I have a lot of experience working in primary care and specialty clinics. Mm-hmm. And right now I'm part of the leadership of the Latinx affinity group at Wake Forest too. Así que básicamente, ¿verdad? Soy originalmente de Puerto Rico. Soy una psicóloga licenciada en el estado de North Carolina o Carolina del Norte. Soy psicóloga pediátrica en Brenner, en el hospital Brenner Children, aquí en Wake Forest, en el departamento de pediatría. Y llevo trabajando con Wake Forest alrededor de 1 año. Llevo, ¿verdad?, trabajando aquí con población de niños y adolescentes con condiciones crónicas, y tengo experiencia por más de 5 o 6 años trabajando con poblaciones que tienen condiciones crónicas de salud y de salud mental ¿verdad?, en clínicas de cuidado primario o clínicas de especialidades como gastroenterología. También soy parte del grupo de liderazgo de Latinx Affinity Group o grupo de afinidad latina en Wake Forest.
Okay, thank you, doctor. That was a great introduction. I do want to dive into our first topic of discussion which is during these difficult times, as you're well aware, and most people listening, our lives have been affected. The vast majority of people, noticeably, due to having to rearrange work schedules and work from home, maybe help our children with virtual learning from home, or the shelter in place and social distancing has definitely been a learning curve for a lot of us. So it's definitely been a difficult time for some people, for sure. And I really like what you wanted to talk about with building resilience, of not necessarily becoming overwhelmed with all the things happening, but you can offer some advice and tips on building resilience. So once again, it's building resilience and wellness during difficult times. So it's construyendo resiliencia y bienestar durante tiempos difíciles. And if you want to go ahead and talk about building resilience y construyendo resiliencia in English and Spanish, that'd be a great start.
Okay, sounds good. So I'm gonna start in English. Basically, it is important to understand first what means resilience. So basically, resilience is the ability to cope with adversity and to use challenges to forge strength and prosperity. Doesn't mean that you do not struggle or make mistakes or need to ask for help. Basically, resilient people learn from their misfortunes and rely on others with confidence and trust. So basically, en Spanish, es bien importante saber qué significa ser resiliente. Así que ser resiliente es básicamente la habilidad que tenemos para poder enfrentar la adversidad o momentos difíciles, y cómo nosotros aprendemos a utilizar esos retos para construir, ¿verdad?, nuestro futuro de una mejor manera, o para poder seguir hacia adelante dentro de una situación difícil. Esto no significa que nosotros no vamos a tener problemas, o no significa que nosotros no vamos a cometer errores o que no podemos preguntar por ayuda. Al contrario, ¿verdad? Una persona resiliente aprende de sus desgracias o de eventos traumáticos, y básicamente aprende a manejar esos problemas de maneras más saludables y a confiar en otros. So when we talk about resilience, we ask this question, like how we can build resilience, and we have different ways in which we can basically build that, and everybody's different, so everybody builds resilience in a different way. But I'm going to be discussing some points that could be useful in these difficult situations of the coronavirus and everything that is happening in the society. So, cuando nosotros hablamos de resiliencia o construir resiliencia, básicamente es importante que pensemos en, ¿verdad?, cómo nosotros podemos construir o desarrollar destrezas que nos ayuden a llegar a eso. Pero es importante entender que todo el mundo no es igual, todo el mundo es diferente, y todo el mundo, ¿verdad?, aprende a ser resiliente de diferente manera. Así que yo voy a estar discutiendo algunos puntos importantes que nos ayudarían a poder continuar enfrentando esta situación tan difícil y construir resiliencia en este momento del coronavirus que nos está afectando a todos. I don't know, you have any questions? Or...
Yeah, so, based upon that, the kind of foundation of resilience and building up resilience, wanted to follow up with wellness and self-regulation. So as part of having resilience, we have some ideas of making sure our wellness is as well as it can be, as good as it can be, and our self-regulation. So if you wouldn't mind just talking a little bit about, in this context, what specifically you mean with self-regulation, and how that ties into improving our wellness. ¿Cómo podemos mejorar nuestro bienestar y autocuidado?
Okay. Yeah. So basically, it is important to start to identify what is causing you stress or anxiety, or what is making you feel frustrated in this situation, and identify what coping skills you already has and what coping skills works for you in the past. And I'm gonna be mentioning some stuff that you can use now and to kind of like see the situation in a different view. So básicamente es importante mirar las destrezas que ya tenemos y cómo nosotros utilizamos esas destrezas para poder manejar situaciones difíciles, pero también cómo podemos transformar esas destrezas en algo que nos ayude a enfrentar la situación que estamos viviendo en el momento. So some of the tips that I would like to share with you is, for example, we can reframe our interpretations or expectations of the situation, o podemos reformular nuestras expectativas o nuestras interpretaciones sobre la situación. Por ejemplo, ahora mismo aceptar la realidad que está ocurriendo con la situación del COVID y tener esa habilidad de poder interpretar las adversidades que estamos enfrentando día a día. Por ejemplo, que tenemos que manejar la distancia social, o que tenemos que pasar más tiempo con los niños estudiando ¿verdad? Por internet, y no entendemos porque el lenguaje no es el nuestro. Básicamente eso es un proceso que va a tomar tiempo, pero en el momento en que empecemos a interpretar eso desde otra manera, o a reformular la expectativa que tenemos de la actividad, nuestro sentido de bienestar va a empezar a cambiar, porque vas a empezar a manejarlo de una mejor manera. So accept the reality of the situation of the coronavirus, but have the ability to interpret it, or interpret the adversities we face, or, for example, have appreciation for what we have gained.
Yeah.
This is very interesting because sometimes we are just seeing the negative of the situation, like all the bad stuff. But sometimes we are gaining some stuff from this situation. For example, more time with our families, or, being able to think about a project that I forgot at home, or things like that. So también es muy importante pensar en, ¿verdad? En estos, cómo podemos apreciar lo que hemos ganado dentro de esta situación tan difícil. Por ejemplo, que estamos pasando más tiempo con nuestra familia, o que estamos retomando proyectos que habíamos dejado olvidados, ese tipo de cosas. The other thing that we can do also is identify what you can control and what you cannot control. Identificar que puedes controlar y que no puedes controlar. This is very important because sometimes we just focus on what we cannot control. And we feel frustrated because obviously we don't have any control over the situation. But when we change our mind to what we can control, we focus the attention on how we can make the situation better, and we identify points of control and takes advantage of them. So, básicamente, cuando nosotros no podemos controlar cosas, nos sentimos frustrados porque realmente no estamos manejando la situación como quisiéramos, pero cuando empezamos a manejar la situación mirando lo que sí podemos controlar, nosotros cambiamos nuestro enfoque, ¿verdad? Y prestamos atención a lo que yo sí puedo controlar, cómo puedo manejar esto, y eso me ayuda a poder identificar qué puntos yo puedo tomar ventaja sobre la situación para mejorar mi bienestar o para ayudarme dentro de la situación. Other of the stuff that can help us to manage the situation that we are having right now, like being at home and, social distancing and all that, is seek support o buscar apoyo. When we talk about support, it is important to think about a sense of community. And I know we are in a very difficult time right now because we are not, doing activities that we are used to, like go outside or spend time with families and friends, but we are able to connect with that people. We can do it like by phone or FaceTime, or we can, I don't know, text messages, or I think something that many people is using now is these videos like Zoom or WebEx or things like that to connect with family that are in other places. So that is very, very important, because when we identify a support system that is living the same situation that we are, we feel better because we can share emotions and we can share feelings. And in the case of kids, it's very important to have an adult that provides stability and support, because they're going to make a difference how they manage the situation in the future or how they manage the situation right now. So, básicamente cuando hablamos de buscar apoyo, nos referimos a tener ese sentido de comunidad, aún en esta situación tan difícil que no podemos ir afuera, no podemos socializar, pero sí podemos identificar recursos para poder conectar con la gente que amamos, por ejemplo, llamadas o videos o mensajes de texto. Hay muchas personas que están utilizando las plataformas de Zoom o de WebEx o ¿verdad? Otras plataformas que ayuden a conectar con la gente que queremos. Y cuando nosotros tenemos un sistema de apoyo, básicamente hace una gran diferencia porque estamos compartiendo emociones y sentimientos de lo que estamos viviendo, que es lo mismo, ¿no? Y podemos sentirnos en el mismo, como decimos por ahí, el mismo barco, todos estamos sintiendo lo mismo y manejando las frustraciones de la misma manera. En el caso de los niños, es muy importante tener un adulto que provea ese sentido de estabilidad y apoyo, porque eso va a ser una gran diferencia en cómo los niños manejan la situación, en cómo los niños pueden afrontar la situación en un futuro o ¿verdad? En el presente.
Really good pointers, Doctor, about this idea of self-regulation and wellness. And I really like the point you brought up about, I think oftentimes, I've experienced this before myself personally, and I'm sure some other people have, about, we start, our mind starts going and going fast about maybe some stuff we can control, but then some stuff we can't control. And it starts kind of racing from one thing to the next, and just the worry and then the anxiety of those thoughts. So I really like the idea of just focusing on what you can control, and the support as well, I think, is so important. I know for so many people during this time, to reach out to their social networks. I was talking with Dr. Scoggin earlier, another one of our staff here at Wake Forest Baptist, and he said, he liked the idea now of not using social distancing, but physical distancing, because we don't want people to be socially distant, just physically distant, but still be connected socially for those support systems, right?
Yeah, I think also it is very important to be very, very flexible in this situation. I think many people are having a big change in their life, like they start to work from home and it's something new for them and they are getting used to with the system, but also some people just lost their jobs. And they are dealing with financial issues and they are dealing with other stressors. So it's how we can find a happy medium and be flexible with the situation, because again, we cannot control some stuff that are external, but we can control some stuff. And when we go with the flow, it's a little bit more, more easy to manage the difficult situation. So, and that helps us to practice acceptance or a knowledge of the situation that just change our life and how we can make this situation better. So, ser flexibles es muy importante porque nosotros a veces estamos enfrentando un cambio muy grande. Por ejemplo, mucha gente está trabajando desde su casa y han tenido que aprender a bregar con sistemas que no sabían, pero otras personas simplemente han perdido sus trabajos y están teniendo muchas preocupaciones económicas que no saben cómo manejar, que no saben cómo ¿verdad? Seguir hacia adelante con esto. Y básicamente cuando nosotros encontramos como como un punto medio en cómo aprendemos a ser flexibles con lo que está ocurriendo y lo que no podemos controlar. Nos ayuda a fluir dentro de la situación difícil y poder tener un poco de aceptación y reconocer que esta situación ha cambiado nuestra vida, pero vamos a encontrar estrategias para poder manejarla y alternativas para hacer de esta situación algo mejor.
Well, thank you. That's some more good information. I did want to ask one other question as we're kind of getting close to wrapping up here.
Yeah.
You know, one thing that I wonder about just with staying focused on what we can control and staying focused on our daily tasks, or would be helping our mind not to wander so much, would be good use of time management and the importance of time management and organization. I know that that's helped a lot with virtual learning from home with the kiddos, and trying to stay and maintain some sort of schedule with the kids.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that can translate over to our days as well, whether we're working from home or maybe, you know, even if we've lost our job for the time being, some people, you know, being structured and organized on what they can accomplish daily to maintain their level of wellness. Y importancia sobre el manejo del tiempo.
Yeah. I think basically you mentioned what we recommend is like try to maintain the routine and the schedule as is, you know, as before, but being flexible again. You know, sometimes we just don't gonna be in the mood. Sometimes you're just gonna be tired and anxious, and it's okay. You know, it's important to validate those emotions that sometimes we just forgot, and we feel even ashamed or we feel like bad because we're having all these strong emotions, and that is not helping me to be productive in my time, or it's not helping me to do my job as I'm doing my job in the past.
Yeah.
So I think it's very, very important to kind of manage the time as the best that you can, but also to recognize that you need time for yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And how you can do a balance between me time and the time that I'm going to spend with my kids or with my family, and the time that I'm going to spend doing work or homework in the case of the little kids. So basically, things that can help is use a schedule. Like, okay, I can divide activities on the days, or I'm going to spend this hour just to take a break and kind of do a mindful exercise and go outside and connect with the nature and then reconnect back to my activity. Or I'm going to do this time to do work, and then I'm going to take a break to cook and do something with the family, and then maybe I can go back to the work. The good thing is when we are at home, we are more flexible to manage our time, but sometimes we can just feel overwhelmed for the expectations. So básicamente el manejo del tiempo y la organización es muy importante porque nosotros... básicamente cuando estamos en la casa como que perdemos noción del tiempo, ¿no? Y es importante mantener la rutina lo más que se pueda, pero nosotros a veces somos demasiado duros con nosotros mismos y olvidamos que mantener la rutina, está bien ser flexible, que a veces no se puede mantener la rutina, que a veces hay que salir de la rutina y ser flexibles y hacer otras actividades y tener tiempo para uno mismo, para poder conectar con uno mismo, para poder procesar emociones, para poder compartir con la familia. Así que una de las cosas que es bien importante es mantener la rutina en lo que se pueda dentro de esta situación, pero a la misma vez tener oportunidad de ser sensible con el manejo del tiempo, pero a la misma vez flexible con el tiempo para ti mismo y el tiempo para tú poder manejar lo que está ocurriendo alrededor. Para poder procesar tus emociones y las emociones de los demás. Así que utilizar una agenda, básicamente, cuando me refiero a una agenda, es como que, ok, vamos a decidir qué actividades se van a hacer hoy, qué actividades son libres, qué actividades son de trabajo, qué actividades son de familia. Y también dividir las actividades o los roles en la casa. Algo que también es muy importante es tener cuidado con las expectativas de ser sobreproductivo en poco tiempo, ¿no? porque a veces cuando esperamos o nos metemos esa presión de ser demasiado productivos en una situación como esta, lo que incrementamos es el sentido de frustración, de tristeza, de ansiedad. Y a veces simplemente no podemos ser sobreproductivos, ni siquiera productivos a nivel que lo éramos, porque estamos lidiando con muchas emociones en un evento traumático como este. So it's really, really important to also identify these expectations of being overproductive and in our regular time.
Yes.
I think many people is talking about like you need to do a lot of stuff in your free time. Now you are more time at home. Maybe you can finish your projects, and that is not a reality for many people. Many people are dealing with a lot of emotions and a lot of feelings around the COVID situation, and it's okay not being productive. It's okay to deal with that, and I think we need to be very careful with the use or the time, but also be conscious about that. And not everybody is gonna be in the same level of expectations with time management, and so people need just time to sleep or time to go outside and connect with the nature, or time to just breathe and debrief their emotions too. So I think that is something really important to consider when we talk about time management and organization too.
Yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head. I think that's fantastic information that you're providing of offering yourself and the people around you, grace and patience. The flexibility can be really, really helpful during these times for sure. Well, this has been fantastic. Just a reminder, we've been chatting with Dr. Elimarie Caballero Quiñones with Wake Forest Baptist Health about, just different advice and tips for just helping our mental wellness and building resilience during these difficult times of coronavirus. So thank you so much, Doctor, for joining us today. This has been great information.
Thank you for having me. Muchas gracias por la oportunidad.
Yes. So we will connect. Doctor, I hope you come join us again once we get past this coronavirus, COVID-19 time frame, and we can talk about another topic.
Sure. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much. And to everyone listening out there, thank you for taking the time to listen. Gracias. And until we chat again, please be well. Y que estés bien.
Thanks for listening to this episode of the Best Health Podcast, brought to you by Wake Forest Baptist Health. For more wellness info, check out wakehealth.edu/besthealth and follow us on social media. Wake Forest Baptist Health. Care for life.